Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and patch 9.1 is coming out in a little over a week. Tuesday for the NA servers, Wednesday for the EU servers, and I think a lot of people are pretty excited. Finally, we're getting some new content. Finally, we got a bunch of new features to explore, new raids, new dungeons, and in this video, I just want to go over every single new feature that has been added into patch 9.1. Talk about the things that you guys might be interested in. Maybe you're someone who's wondering, should you come back to the game? Is this the time to resubscribe? Or you simply just want to catch up to, okay, what else is new? You just completely ignored the PTR updates. You haven't really watched so many YouTube videos on that stuff. So you're just interested to see what are we getting that's going to be new and exciting in the next patch. So let's go over every single feature that was added, changed, or updated, like the seasonal stuff, for patch 9.1. The first feature we could talk about is Xmog, and a lot of us love customizations. I mean, mounts are cool, getting rating in arenas is awesome, but we all know that the mogs, for many of us, is the end game goal of WoW. And Blizzard added another thing for customization when it comes to transmog, allowing players to finally be able to transmog each shoulder as a different piece. If you ever wanted to have one shoulder massive on your orc displayed for everyone to see, while the other shoulder maybe non-existent, maybe slightly smaller, so when your orc aims their bow, it doesn't clip through their face, now you can finally do that. And there's a lot of different shoulders and, of course, different transmogs added into patch 9.1, so a lot of different combinations that you might be able to play out. And this will definitely offer players even more customizability of how they display their character out in the open world. Next, we have a brand new zone called Korthia, as well as some zone updates to the Maw. Korthia is going to be a daily hub where a lot of the story elements and story quests are going to come from. The zone is going to be full of rares, events, and treasures, and a lot of different cosmetics and mounts can be earned from there. But what Blizzard won't tell you on their main website is that there's even catch-up gear and a variety of different vendors added to Korthia. A lot of these vendors have to do with buying sockets for your gear or buying catch-up gear and upgrading that catch-up gear. There's even vendors for mounts based on reputations and other upgrades. And when it comes to the Maw, it'll be more explorable. No longer will you be oppressed by the eye of the jailer, given a limited time to hang out in the Maw. Twice a week, the Maw is also going to have invasions, where you get to pair up with different covenants and fight against the forces of the jailer with a variety of different rewards like mounts as well as catch-up gear. Korthia and the Maw is also going to house a new world boss. We don't really know if this world boss is going to be on a rotation like currently world bosses are, or if this guy will just simply be available once a week for everybody to defeat together alongside with other world bosses on a weekly rotation, but a new world boss is being added for patch 9.1. We also have a variety of different covenant updates to take a look at, like expanded soul binds, which offer different extra traits for every single one of the soul binds, which is going to have some pretty drastic changes in terms of which covenants everybody is going to be playing in patch 9.1. Not every class and spec is going to be making swaps, but there are some awesome builds that have came out. You have Arms Warriors potentially going Kyrian, you have Assassination Rogues potentially going Necrolord, Boomkins might even go Venthyr, so it's really just kind of flipping the meta on its head. And potentially, with all these different changes to the Covenants, there might be more viable options for you to choose how you want to play your character. You also have introduction of Covenant Legendaries, which change the way your Covenant abilities operate. Renown is getting a whole new cap from 40 to 80, so a lot more renown levels for you to grind out, which means a lot more story for your Covenant to explore, and also a lot more rewards to get from all this renown. But also more renown means more problems, more catch up, and Blizzard is trying to see if they can somehow alleviate that by adding even more ways for you to catch up with your renown come patch 9.1. From your Covenants as well as the renown and the story quests in Korthia, you'll also unlock flying in patch 9.1. Being able to explore Castle Nathria from a whole nother angle, or even being able to fly to the top, is actually a really freeing experience. And the fact that we're getting flying really early on is also a good thing. You won't have to purchase any kind of license. You don't really need to do any kind of like an attunement quest for it. You just get flying with renown, so that's a good thing. We also have a brand new raid. It wouldn't be a WoW patch without a new raid. Sanctum of Domination. You have bosses like Sylvanas, Kel'Thuzad, and a variety of others that are actually been super enjoyable to test. All these bosses look really fun for Mythic as well as Heroic, so hopefully you guys will enjoy them as much as I have. You have a brand new gear system called Shards of Domination that comes from the raid and the raid gear. You get these sharded nominations, which are like empowered gems in a sense. You have a variety of different bonuses from leech to extra damage to absorbs, and you can customize your character in any of these gems any way you want to. From a vendor in Korthia, you can also upgrade these gems. And if you wear 3 of the same type of gem, you'll unlock a set bonus of those gems. So customizing your character, and in a sense customizing like a tier set, gear set bonus, is going to be a feature of patch 9.1. We have a brand new Megadungeon. It's called Tezavesh, and it's beautiful, and the bosses in there are quite fun. Tezavesh is an 8-boss dungeon just like the other mega dungeons of World of Warcraft. This one even comes with hard mode. The hard mode of Tezavesh is different than the other dungeons because the original dungeon of Tezavesh is going to start with gear of 226 item level, which is great for catch up and has a lot of awesome cosmetics. But the hard mode upgrades the bosses to have extra mechanics, but also upgrades the gear that they drop to 233 item level. Besides the gear that could be an item level upgrade, or even just for Xmog, as well as a mount and other collectibles, Tezavesh is looking like a very unique experience. Mythic Plus Season 2 is going to be head-starting in patch 9.2. And Mythic Plus Season 2 starts off with a couple different things. For example, new seasonal affix. Say goodbye to the Tomato Man, that is the prideful buff, and say hello to the new Tormented affix. Tormented is going to sprinkle in jailers, lieutenants throughout the dungeon. Every one of these lieutenants will have their own mechanics to overcome, and once defeated they drop anima powers, just like in Torghast, which allow you to customize your character and give yourself some strengths and benefits that you normally wouldn't be able to try to see if you can bypass the dungeon. There are a lot of different powers that you can collect. Some are themed after affixes. So for example, it's pretty annoying to get hit by volcanic constantly. So what if your attacks could have a chance to spawn a volcanic that damaged your enemies, knocking them up in the air? Which can give you a variety of different strategies in terms of how you approach different dungeons and which powers you choose. Every one of these lieutenants comes with a passive debuff while you're engaged with the lieutenant. You can bypass these lieutenants, but you'll have to fight the final boss with every one of the active alive lieutenants debuffs currently active. So you have things like a 50% movement slow, a damage over time ability, you have a 50% healing reduction, and 50% physical damage taken. So certain groups will be able to bypass certain of these debuffs, and others will just take them with the boss in order to be able to see if they can overcome the challenge. Season 2 of Mythic Plus also offers a new scoring system, very similar to Radar.io being baked into World of Warcraft. So the better you do in your keys on Fortified and Tyrannical, the higher your character score is going to be. All the achievements with KSM, for example, will be attached to that score rather than the key level. So certain keys you can do at a higher level and certain ones you can do at a lower and still get your KSM achievement. Besides that, you also have some affixes that have been nerfed for this patch. A lot of different changes have been done in order to make dungeons a little bit less oppressive. And also certain bosses and mechanics have been touched up a little bit, because Prideful allowed us to be able to decimate some of these bosses that would very quickly scale out of control. So in order to account for the loss of Prideful, Blizzard is adjusting some of the more tougher bosses in dungeons, so hopefully you, next time you do some Mythic Pluses in 9.1, will have an easier time timing that key. Next we have PvP Season 2 for Shadowlands patch 9.1. One of the biggest things that PvP is getting is a variety, many honor talents added for a variety of different classes and specs. A complete honor talent rework, taking away some of the more useless honor talents and adding in as many useful, interesting, exciting, and even game-changing honor talents into our honor talent tree choices. On this channel, we'll try to cover as many of these as we could, and I feel like it might be worth making a separate video talking about every single new honor talent that every class is getting, but be aware that the game is probably going to play differently. You have mages that will be building ice walls, warlocks that can teleport enemies away, enhancement shamans that will actually have a knockback, not elemental shamans, enhancement shamans. There's a variety of updates constantly happening over on the PvP side of things, and patch 9.1 is looking to shake up the meta quite a bit. You also have a major change to PvP gearing for Season 2. Gear is going to scale to a higher item level within PvP scenarios. That means if your character is inside of a battleground, arena, rated battleground, or out in the open world in war mode, your gear that is the new Season 2 PvP gear is actually going to scale to a higher item level, which hopefully will make it for Season 2 that PvP gear will be the best gear to PvP. So don't worry about raiders or Mythic Plusers getting any kind of early advantage over you. Now this isn't character scaling like before. People really dislike character scaling. This is gear scaling. The item level of the gear is going to jump up in PvP situations, so hopefully it shouldn't come with any of those weird character scaling stuff we had back in Battle for Azeroth or even Legion. We also have a variety of different Torghast updates, but to condense them very quickly, you have a variety of different cosmetics and items to collect from inside the Torghast vendors. You also have brand new floors added to Torghast if you can unlock a flawless run. To achieve a flawless run, you have to reach a certain amount of score. Yes, Torghast is getting a bit of a score that does give you extra points for clearing the full room, being efficient at it, or even utilizing the empowered bonus as much as you can. There's even its own talent tree added for Torghast in order to make your runs even easier. So if you're someone who's been struggling to get some Torghast runs done, this should help you out a ton. Or if you're someone trying to go for different cosmetic rewards and potentially even mounts from Torghast, the talent tree should make it easier for you to get all of your runs at a flawless level. From Torghast, you'll also get quite a bit extra soul ash to craft your legendaries at rank 4, and you'll have a brand new soul ash system called soul cinders in order to upgrade your legendaries to a rank 5 and a rank 6. He even added a way for you to send soul ash from a character to another character. So your main that's sitting on a bunch of soul ash can send some to your fresh level 60 olds so they can craft a rank 4 legendary very quickly. In fact, Torghast does even have more updates, but we are going to keep this part pretty short. Quite a lot of you guys will be able to experience Torghast in 9.1. I guess it should also be mentioned for patch 9.1, they'll have a variety more pets to collect, a lot more mounts to collect, a lot more toys to collect, transmog sets galore, and everything else. There's going to be quite a lot to do in this next new patch. Some of this content will be similar to some of the things we've seen in previous World of Warcraft expansions and patches, and some of this stuff is actually pretty new. And I'm very excited to sink my teeth into all the patch 9.1 stuff. Hopefully this was a good little video to get you guys up to date with everything that's going to be happening in 9.1. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I honestly can't wait for patch 9.1 to come out so I can finally sink my teeth into it. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.